everyone. In our lesson today we are going to focus on the listening part and we are going to have some writing exercises as well. Bugungi darsda biz listening ni qilib chiqamiz va writing bosqichiga ham urg'u beramiz. Let's get started. So in our listening exercise, what we have to do is to listen to the description of these two pictures. So while you are listening, what you have to do exercise number 2 and exercise number 3. Let's say you didn't manage to answer to all the questions. What you can do is to listen one more time to the same audio. It's fine. But what also I recommend you is to write every single word that you have listened. So you are going to write the tape script of the audio. It's going to be very much useful in the future for your IELTS listening because you are going to listen there for every single detail. And if you start having this habit right now, from today in the future, it will be very much easy for you. Hozir biz siz bilan shu ikkita rasmni tasvirlab berishni eshitamiz. Siz nima qilishingiz kerak? Birinchi va ikkinchi va uchinchi mashqdagi savollarga javob berishingiz kerak. Agarda siz hamma savollarga ulgurmasangiz javob berishga, siz yana bir marta eshitsangiz ham bo'ladi. Agar kelajakda siz IELTS o'qimoqchi bo'lsangiz, siz u yerda har bitta so'zni yaxshilab aytishingiz kerak. Shu qobiliyatni yaxshilab rivojlantirish uchun hozirdan boshlab sizga maslahatim, hozir har bitta eshitgan so'zingizni yozib chiqishingiz kerak. For example, they say, this is the play of the ugly duckling and Molly forgot her words, for example. Va siz har bitta shu aytgan so'zni yozib chiqishingiz kerak. Kelajakda bu sizga juda ham katta foyda beradi. Alright, so let's listen now.
Pupils Book, Unit 5, page 62. Activities 2 and 3.
It was time for the final rehearsal. Lulu, Molly and Max were excited, but Alfie was worried. "I can't remember my words," he said. The stage was dark. Max switched on the lights and Molly started the music. "It's too loud!" shouted Miss Carey. The curtains opened, and there was the river, the reeds, the trees, and a little house on the right. But where was the nest? "Alfie, where is your nest?" shouted Miss Carey. "Sorry," said Alfie. He ran onto the stage and put the nest on the riverbank. The rehearsal was a disaster. Alfie didn't forget his words, but Lulu forgot hers. Max said Molly's words, and Molly said Lulu's words. The little house fell down, and Lulu fell down too. Poor Alfie. He was the ugly duckling, and his head fell off. "That was terrible," said Miss Carey, but she wasn't angry. She laughed. "The play's going to be great," she said. "Just wait and see."
So I hope you have listened to everything and understood most of the parts. And as a homework, I will require you to do is to write every single word. This is very much obligatory, alright? U ish sifatida siz mana shu audioni har bitta so'zini yozib chiqishingiz kerak. Bu majburiy, alright? Because if you don't do this in the future, you will struggle a lot. Chunki agar hozir qilmasangiz, buni kelajakda siz qiyinchiliklar ko'rishingiz mumkin. So now let's answer to these questions. So let's answer to the question. Let's start with the exercise number 2. The first question, what was the name of the play? The name of the play was The Ugly Duckling. Second, was it the first performance or the final rehearsal? It was the final rehearsal. It wasn't the first performance. Exercise number 3. What we have to do, again, we have to answer to these questions. We have to circle the right person. And here we have to circle the right person. The first, who switched on the lights? Max switched on the lights. Sentence number 2, who started the music? Molly started the music. Sentence number 3, who shouted? Shouted, it means to speak very loudly, baqirmoq. Miss Carey shouted. Sentence number 4. Who forgot the nest? What is nest? Nest is a little home for birds, which they make from sticks, right? So, Alfie forgot the nest. Next sentence, 5th. Who forgot the words? Lulu and Molly forgot the words. 6. Who fell down? Lulu fell down. Sentence number 7. Whose head fell off? Alfie's head fell off. And sentence number 8. Who laughed? Miss Carey laughed because everything was a disaster and she was laughing because of this. So this is the end of our listening exercise. Now we are going to move to the writing part. So in our writing part, what we have to do is to write a little story of the ugly duckling. So before we start writing our story, what we have to do, we have to read the exercise number 1. Alfie, Molly, Lulu, Max and the children in the drama club are putting on a show. It is the story of the ugly duckling. Design the poster for the show. Write your ideas on the small poster. So you see, this is small poster, and what you have to do, you have to write some ideas on this so that people will know what is going to happen and people will be attracted by this. Hozir biz siz bilan kichkina poster yasashimiz kerak va bu poster odamlarga yordam beradi nima haqida shu play yoki show bo'ladi. Alright, so let's do this together. What is the name of the group? Let's say the name of the group will be 7A. Next, the name of the show. The name of the show is The Ugly Duckling. For example, this is The Ugly Duckling or this is The Beautiful Swan. I'm not very much good at drawing, but if you are very good, but if you have such an ability, please you can draw this picture, or if you don't like drawing like me, you can write some ideas as well. Next, the place. So the place where it's going to happen, this is the school hall. I will erase this picture, alright? So the place where it's going to happen is going to be at the school hall. Second, the day and the time, Friday, 11 o'clock. You can get the tickets from the school library. So these are all the details of our poster. Now we are going to write the story itself. So now what we are going to do is to write the story or the program. So what we have to do, we have to write first our ideas on the small page, and then we can write the whole story. So the title of the play, The Ugly Duckling, the story we are going to write, and the characters. So who is going to play? For example, Alfie, the ugly duckling, Miss Carey, she is going to be the beautiful swan, let's say. Lulu is going to be another character. So we have to write the names of the characters and who is going to perform. So if you are very much creative person, I know for sure you are going to enjoy this exercise. So please pause the video. Take your time, an hour if you want more, if you want less, and then make your own story. Agar siz juda ham kreativ inson bo'lsangiz, bu mashqni siz aniq bilaman juda ham yaxshi ko'rasiz. Bu mashqdan siz aniq bilaman juda ham zavq olasiz. Hozir siz nima qilishingiz kerak? Hozir siz har bitta narsani to'ldirib chiqib, hikoyani o'zini yozishingiz kerak. Alright, let's get started. So this is my story. It's a bit long, but it's going to be very much useful for you so that you will read it, retell it, and then you will take note of some useful vocabulary or grammar structure, right? So do not be scared of these big texts. Just enjoy it, alright? We are going to read it together. So once upon a time, it means bir kuni there was a duck. She lived in a wonderful forest with a lot of other animals. One day she laid a few eggs. Laid, it means tuxum qo'ymoq. After warming them carefully, the duck waited the eggs to hatch. Hatch, it means tuxumdan chiqmoq. While she was waiting and watching them, you see, I used past continuous. So in your story, you should also use past continuous, past simple, either or, neither nor structures as well, right? So while she was waiting and watching them, three of her eggs cracked and 3 lovely ducklings came into the world. The mother duck was overjoyed. However, the largest egg was still there and was not cracking at all. The mother duck and was not cracking at all, even was not about to. Eventually, finally, it means great egg burst, tırsıladı. But it was large gray. Finally, the great egg burst, but it was large, gray, and ugly. The mother duck looked at it and started shouting and crying, "Oh no, he can't be my baby. How ugly and different he is from the rest of my children. He must be either another bird's egg or someone threw it into my nest." So you see, either or. But nonetheless, it means, however, the mother duck promised herself, it means vada bermoq, herself that she would love all her children the same. She led her children into the nearby pond and began to teach each duckling how to be a proper duck. Proper means decent, yaxshi, good, to'g'ri. So the poor ugly duckling was immensely, it means very much, hated by his brothers and sisters. They used to mock. Mock, it is the synonym of tease, maskhara qilmoq. Nobody wanted to play with him. One evening, as all the ducks in the pond had gone to sleep, the ugly duckling decided that it was time for him to leave. So he was very much disappointed, upset, and he decided to leave. Ularni tark etishga qaror qildi. He knew he was causing his mother unhappiness, and he did not want to live in a place where he felt unwanted. So the little ugly duckling ran away. Qochib ketdi. He waddled far away from the pond where he was born. The ugly duckling came to a larger pond filled with a family of geese. The goslings were brown and gray like he was. Happily, the ugly duckling waddled to the water's edge and plopped his little body into the water and swam towards the family of geese. And they were kind to him and told that he is more than welcome to join the family. Many days and nights passed, and the ugly duckling was living happily with the geese. He loved to play with the goslings, and the mother and father treated him like their own. Treated means g'amxo'rlik qilmoq. Alright? So he was growing larger, his feathers were coming in, and the ugly duckling was able to fly off the ground. However, the ugly duckling had become very weak and hungry. He did not have enough strength to fly. Miraculously, it means by magic, the ugly duckling had survived the cold winter. He approached a crystal clear pool and saw a family of the most beautiful birds he had ever seen, swans. So ugly duckling also left the geese, and he was unable to find food or home or shelter to stay. So he miraculously survived this cold winter, and while he was walking, he miraculously, fortunately, out of the blue, found a lake of beautiful swans. My, your feathers are the whitest I have ever seen. How they gleam in the sun. Gleam, it means glow, right? Parlash. The swan exclaimed to the ugly duckling. Really? Are you talking to me? So my feathers are white? My feathers glow? Come on, no, it's impossible because my feathers are gray and I'm not beautiful at all. But swans are saying to this poor ugly duckling. No, come on, you are the most beautiful swan we have ever seen. So the ugly duckling wandered to the water and peered at his reflection. Much to his surprise, he was not an ugly duckling, for he was not a duck at all. So this poor ugly duckling, in fact, was not duck at all. He was swan. He was a beautiful white swan with a long and elegant neck, and started crying joyfully from the depths of his heart. I never dreamed of such happiness as this while I was an ugly duckling. So he couldn't even imagine that he could be such a beautiful swan. So you see, when people get upset because of their current situation, you should not be upset, all right? So because the patience, sabrlik, if you have this kind of skill, then in the future you will be rewarded for sure. Agar siz bugun har kuni sabr bilan yashasangiz, albatta kelajakda siz mukofotlanasiz. All right, the same situation happened with the ugly duckling. He was very much patient. In the future, he became a beautiful swan, and he was also rewarded. So he entered the water and joined the family. For the rest of his days, the swan lived happily with his new family. So at the end of the day, anyway, poor ugly duckling became beautiful swan. So this is a little story of the ugly duckling. You see, the story is very basic, all right, very simple, and usually at the kindergarten we read this story. But what you have to do here, you have to pay attention to the beauty of the English language, to the beauty of these little grammar structures, and take note of them and implement or use them in your practice, all right? Ko'rib turganingizdek, bu juda ham oddiy hikoya. Buni biz ko'pincha bog'chada o'qiymiz. Va lekin siz bu yerda nimaga ahamiyat berishingiz kerak? Bu ingliz tilini chiroyligiga. Har bitta so'z juda ham ma'noli. For example, from the depths of his heart. From the depths of his heart, it means ichidan, all right? So this is a very beautiful story, and it has a very deep meaning. So please now stop the video, learn all the new vocabulary from this text, and try to retell this text using all the vocabulary, all the grammar structures that you have got here, all right? Good job. So this is the end of our 17th lesson. Today we had with you some speaking exercise, and also we paid attention to the beauty of the English language. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Bugungi darsda biz siz bilan ozgincha speaking qildik va ingliz tilining chiroyliligiga ahamiyat berdik. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Goodbye.